The galaxy had never noticed humans. To the vast network of civilizations spanning 1,000 star systems, humanity was barely a whisper in a corner of a small blue-green planet called Earth. Most species dismissed humans as primitive, fragile, and insignificant. Yet, humans had something the galaxy underestimated: resilience. In the Andromeda expanse, the Trivian Empire's council gathered in the grand hall of crystal and metal. Triangular beings with translucent skin glimmered under the council's light, their voices a harmonic chorus. "They say the humans are developing interstellar travel," said High Chancellor Rilth, his voice vibrating through the chamber like a deep drum. "Pathetic. How can they hope to survive beyond their tiny world?" Another council member, a sinewy creature named Vash, hissed, "We should strike before they reach the stars. They are not ready for the galaxy. They will be easy prey." The council nodded, a silent agreement forming. Humanity, if left unchecked, would only complicate the Trivian Empire's plans. And so, they sent scouts, fast, deadly ships designed to intimidate and conquer any nascent species daring to venture beyond their system. Meanwhile, humanity celebrated its first successful warp flight. Captain Elias Shaw stood on the bridge of the Pioneer, a sleek human vessel humming with energy. Behind him, a crew of humans of every origin worked in synchronized precision. "Status report," Elias called. "Warp drive stable." "First jump completed," said Lieutenant Mara Kwan, her hands moving over the holographic controls. "Coordinates for Proxima Centauri reached. No anomalies." Elias smiled. "We're not just reaching the stars, Mara. We're making humanity visible. Let's hope the galaxy is ready to see us." No one on the Pioneer knew that the Trivians had already detected their jump. Within hours, a Trivian scout fleet warped into the outer orbit of Earth's system. Its ships were vast, shimmering with a lethal elegance, dwarfing anything humans had imagined. The first encounter was tense. Human sensors detected unknown vessels approaching at impossible speeds. Alarms blared. "Identify," Elias barked, voice tight with caution. A deep, resonant voice echoed inside the bridge. "Humans of Sol. You are trespassing beyond your station. Surrender or be extinguished." Elias's jaw tightened. "This is Captain Elias Shaw of the United Earth Fleet. We come in peace. We seek knowledge and exploration, not war." A pause heavy as a supernova. Then the alien responded, "Your kind is weak. Yet you reach for the stars. Weakness is dangerous. Resistance will be fatal." The Trivians fired a warning volley. Light cascaded across the void as human shields absorbed the impact, sparks dancing across the hull. Elias gritted his teeth. "Mara, power up the defense grid. Prepare evasive maneuvers." The Pioneer twisted and turned, small by alien standards, but agile beyond anything the Trivians anticipated. In a daring maneuver, Elias led the Trivian scouts on a chase through the asteroid belt of Alpha Centauri, using terrain as cover. "We're fast but they're relentless," Mara warned. Elias looked out at the stars, determination blazing in his eyes. "Good. Let them chase. They'll learn that humans adapt faster than they expect." The chase ended with the Trivians retreating, humiliated. Reports of human ingenuity and agility spread quickly through Trivian space. The galaxy's assumption that humans were weak was already starting to crumble. Back on Earth, the United Earth Council convened in the Great Hall of Terra Nova. Leaders of every nation, military strategists, scientists, and diplomats crowded together, faces lit by the holographic map of the galaxy. "Scouts report alien fleets at the outer rim," said Admiral Naomi Varesh, her tone calm but urgent. "They underestimate us. That is our advantage. But if we fail to plan, humanity will pay the price." A young strategist, Lieutenant Rian Locke, stepped forward. "We may be outmatched in firepower, but we are not outmatched in mind. They expect us to react predictably. We will not. We will anticipate, we will outthink, and we will survive." The council fell silent. Then one by one leaders nodded. Humanity's first interstellar war was about to begin, not with a shout but with a calculated, cunning strike. On a quiet Earth night, beneath the city lights of New Berlin, Elias stared at the stars. He whispered, almost to himself, "They will learn, one way or another, that humans are not to be underestimated." The galaxy had noticed humanity, and the war to teach it fear had begun. The galaxy had never noticed humans. To the thousands of civilizations that spanned the stars, Earth was just a blue dot in a quiet corner. Humans were small, fragile, and slow to understand the larger universe. That made them perfect to ignore or underestimate. On the crystal throne world of the Trivian Empire, High Chancellor Rilth spoke before the council. Triangular beings with glimmering translucent skin leaned forward in unison. They are only beginning to leave their world, Rilth said. Pathetic creatures. Their technology is primitive. They are not ready for the galaxy. Vash, a sinewy council member, hissed in agreement. We strike now before they become troublesome. Extinguish them quietly. It will be swift. Riltha's eyes glowed. Agreed. Send scouts. Observe. Decide how easily they fall. Meanwhile, humanity celebrated a milestone: warp travel. Captain Elias Shaw stood on the bridge of the Pioneer, humanity's first interstellar ship. Around him, a crew of humans moved with calm precision, adjusting controls and monitoring sensors. Status? Elias asked. Warp stable. Coordinates reached, Lieutenant Mara Kwan reported. First jump complete. No anomalies. Elias's eyes sparkled. Humanity is no longer hidden. The stars are ours to explore. Let's hope the galaxy is watching. Unseen, Trivian scouts warped into the solar system. Their ships were enormous, sleek and deadly, dwarfing the human vessel. Unknown ships entering orbit, Mara reported. Elias's jaw tightened. Identify. A voice, deep and resonant, filled the Pioneer. Humans of soul. You trespass. Surrender or be destroyed. Elias stood tall. This is Captain Elias Shaw of the United Earth Fleet. We come in peace. We seek knowledge, not war. Silence. Then the voice hissed. Weakness is dangerous. Resistance will be fatal. Suddenly, a volley of alien fire erupted. Sparks danced across the hull as human shields absorbed the impact. Evasive maneuvers. Elias commanded. The Pioneer darted through space, weaving between asteroid fields, moving faster and smarter than the aliens expected. They're faster than anticipated, Mara said, astonished. Elias smiled grimly. Good. Let them chase. They'll learn humans adapt. The Trivians eventually retreated, their pride stung. Across their empire, rumors spread. Humans were not as weak as they seemed. On Earth, the United Earth Council gathered. Leaders, strategists, and scientists crowded around a glowing map of the galaxy. Alien fleets are massing at our system's edge, Admiral Naomi Varesh warned. They underestimate us. That's our advantage, but it won't last. Lieutenant Rian Locke, young and sharp, spoke up. We can't match them in raw power. But we can outthink them. They expect predictable humans. We'll show them we are anything but predictable. The council nodded. Humanity's first interstellar war had begun, not with force but with cunning. Under the night sky of New Berlin, Elias stared at the stars. They will learn one way or another, humans are not to be underestimated. And for the first time, the galaxy noticed humanity. The galaxy had never noticed humans. Among thousands of civilizations spanning hundreds of star systems, Earth was nothing more than a small blue dot, a fragile rock in a quiet corner of space. To the advanced races of the galaxy, humans were weak, slow, and predictable. That assumption would be their first mistake. On the gleaming crystal world of the Trivian Empire, High Chancellor Rilth stood before the council. Triangular beings with translucent skin shimmered under the hall's bright light, their harmonic voices filling the chamber. They are only beginning to reach beyond their planet, Rilth said, his voice deep and commanding. Primitive creatures. Their technology barely scratches the stars. They are not ready to join the galaxy. Vash, a sinewy council member, hissed in agreement. Then we strike now. Eliminate them quietly. It will be swift and no empire will question us. Riltha's eyes glowed with cold calculation. Send the scouts. Let us see how fragile their defenses truly are. Let us decide if we must crush them or simply watch them fail on their own. Far across the void, humanity celebrated a triumph of ingenuity. Captain Elias Shaw stood on the bridge of the Pioneer, humanity's first interstellar vessel. His crew moved with precision and quiet focus, their eyes fixed on the shimmering stars beyond the viewport. Status report, Elias demanded. Warp drive stable, Captain, replied Lieutenant Mara Kwan, her fingers dancing over the controls. Coordinates for Proxima Centauri reached. No anomalies detected. Elias allowed himself a rare smile. This is it, Mara. Humanity is no longer hidden. The stars are ours to explore. And whatever is out there, they will see us coming. But they were already seen. Trivian scouts warped into the outskirts of the solar system, enormous ships shimmering like liquid metal. They were designed for speed, intimidation, and destruction, creatures of sheer power that dwarfed the human vessel. Unknown ships approaching at high velocity, Mara said, alarm clear in her voice. Elias's jaw tightened. Identify. A deep, resonant voice filled the Pioneer. Humans of soul. You trespass. Surrender or be destroyed. Elias straightened. I am Captain Elias Shaw of the United Earth Fleet. We come in peace. We seek knowledge, not war. The silence that followed was heavy. Then the alien hissed, your kind is weak. Resistance is futile. Weakness invites annihilation. Then came the warning salvo. Light and energy collided with the Pioneer's shields, sparks scattering across the deck. The ship groaned under the assault. Evasive maneuvers. Elias shouted. The Pioneer twisted and darted between asteroid fields, a small craft moving with impossible agility. The Trivians expected a slow, predictable human response. They underestimated humans' instinct for adaptation. They're fast, Mara breathed astonished. Faster than our calculations. Elias allowed himself a grim smile. Good. Let them chase. Let them learn humans do not react, they anticipate. The chase ended with the Trivian scouts retreating, their pride wounded. Across the Empire, whispers spread. Humans were not as weak as the galaxy believed. Back on Earth, the United Earth Council gathered in the Great Hall of Terra Nova. Leaders, strategists, and scientists crowded around a holographic star map, showing alien fleets moving toward the solar system. Alien forces are massing, Admiral Naomi Varesh said. They assume we are weak. That is our advantage, but it will not last. If we fail, humanity will pay dearly. Lieutenant Rian Locke, young, sharp, and audacious, stepped forward. We may not match them in firepower, Admiral, but we can outthink them. They expect humans to act predictably. We will show them humans are unpredictable. We adapt. We learn. We survive. The council murmured. One by one, leaders nodded. Humanity's first interstellar war was not yet a battle of guns and fire, but of minds. A war that would stretch across star systems and reshape the galaxy. That night, under the lights of New Berlin, Elias stared at the stars from the bridge window. They will learn one way or another, humans are not to be underestimated. Above them the galaxy watched. And the war to teach it fear had begun. The Trivians believed they had humanity cornered. They had vast fleets, centuries of experience, and technologies beyond human comprehension. To them, humans were fragile, slow, and predictable. That was their first mistake. On Earth, the United Earth Council worked tirelessly. Holographic star maps shimmered in the council hall as strategists and military leaders plotted humanity's first move beyond defense. They had no illusions. Humans could not match the firepower of the Trivians. But humans could outthink them. Captain Elias Shaw stood before the council. We cannot beat them with ships alone, he said. We beat them with our minds, our adaptability, and our unpredictability. We must make them fear what they cannot understand. Admiral Naomi Varesh nodded. Our sensors have detected weak points in their scout communications. They rely heavily on automated coordination. If we can disrupt it, we can strike without facing their main fleet. Lieutenant Rian Locke stepped forward, pointing at the holographic projection. Here. A Trivian relay station near the Orion cluster. It's lightly guarded but critical. If we disable it, we can confuse their fleets for hours, enough to strike and escape. The council agreed. Humanity's first strike would not be about glory, it would be about survival, strategy, and teaching the galaxy that humans were unpredictable. The Pioneer, refitted with stealth technology developed in secret, led a small task force toward the Orion cluster. The crew moved silently, hearts pounding, minds sharp. Every maneuver had been simulated hundreds of times. Every risk calculated. Stealth field active, Mara reported. No detection so far. Elias nodded. Good. Keep it that way. We are ghosts until the strike begins. The relay station loomed ahead, massive even from a distance, its energy beams sweeping across space in relentless arcs. Trivian drones patrolled, but their movement was predictable, programmed for efficiency, not imagination. Engage electromagnetic pulse, Elias ordered. The pulse burst outward in a silent wave, disabling the relay station's shields and communications. Trivian drones spun helplessly in the void. A deep, resonant voice boomed in the Pioneer. Humans, how dare you? Elias smirked. We dare because we can. Because we adapt. Because we survive. The Trivian fleet responded almost immediately. Hundreds of ships warped toward the Orion cluster, their weapons blazing with light and energy. The humans, far fewer in number, relied on speed, cunning, and terrain, using asteroid fields and gravity wells to their advantage. Divert power to forward thrusters. We'll cut through the asteroid belt. Mara shouted, her fingers flying over the console. The chase was brutal. Human ingenuity met alien experience in a deadly dance. The Pioneer darted between rocks, weaving like a predator, the Trivians firing blindly. Human sharpshooters took calculated shots at weak points in the alien hulls, sowing chaos. Elias saw an opening. Lock onto their command ship. Fire EMP torpedoes. A massive pulse erupted, paralyzing the Trivian command ship. Without orders, the fleet staggered, confused and vulnerable. "We've done it," Mara whispered. "They don't know what hit them." The humans withdrew, leaving the Trivians stunned. Reports from across the galaxy spread quickly. Humans were not just surviving, they were striking back, striking smart and striking without fear. Back on Earth, the Council celebrated cautiously. "We've made our point," Admiral Varesh said. "The galaxy will begin to notice. And so will the Trivians." But not all humans celebrated. Lieutenant Locke approached Elias, concern in his eyes. "They'll come back stronger. And they'll learn fast. We've shown them cunning, but now we're a target." Elias stared out at the stars, determination etched on his face. "Let them come. Every step they take will be ready. They think humans are fragile, but they are learning what every generation of humans has known. Survival is in our blood, adaptation in our minds and victory in our will." Across the galaxy, the Trivians huddled in war councils, analyzing reports of the attack. How could a species so primitive defeat a command ship? Vash hissed, trembling. "This is impossible. They are cunning. They are unpredictable." High Chancellor Riltha's gaze was colder than ever. "Then we must learn quickly. Humans cannot be underestimated again. They will become a threat. And threats must be removed." For the first time, the Trivians felt the spark of fear. The faint, creeping realization that humans were not ordinary, not weak, and not to be ignored. And on Earth, humanity prepared for the war ahead. They had shown the galaxy their first lesson: humans adapt, humans strike, and humans survive. The galaxy had begun to take notice. And humanity had only just begun to teach it fear. The galaxy had begun to whisper about humanity. Reports spread through trading hubs, council halls, and distant colonies. A fragile species of Blue Worlders had struck a Trivian relay station and vanished without a trace. Across the stars, the galaxy's most advanced civilizations began to take note. On Earth, the United Earth Council convened again. Holographic maps glowed with alien fleet movements and star systems under Trivian control. Humanity had made its first strike, but the Trivians would respond. "We've bought time," Admiral Naomi Varesh said. "But the Trivians are analyzing our tactics. They will adapt quickly. We need more than agility, we need influence, alliances, and intelligence." Lieutenant Rian Locke leaned forward. "There are other civilizations being oppressed by the Trivians. Many fear them, but none dare resist. We could offer aid, and in doing so, gain allies." Elias Shaw's eyes narrowed. "Diplomacy and strategy. That's human advantage. Let's show the galaxy that humans not only survive, they lead." Meanwhile, the Trivian Empire seethed. High Chancellor Rilth called an emergency council. The triangular beings crowded the chamber, translucent skin glimmering with tension. "Humans are not ordinary," Rilth said, his voice low and dangerous. "They strike then vanish. They anticipate, they adapt. We can no longer ignore them as primitive. We must contain them, but containment alone is insufficient." Vash hissed, anger flaring. "We should annihilate Earth now. Crush their fleets, obliterate their cities. End this threat before it grows." Riltha's gaze was cold. "We strike carefully. Humans are unpredictable. They will die in battle, yes, but not easily. We must control the chessboard, not rush blindly into war." Back on Earth, humans were preparing for the next stage. Intelligence networks extended to every reachable system. Scientists, engineers, and strategists worked in synchronized effort. Humanity had no time to waste. The first strike had revealed that subtlety alone would not be enough. Elias stood on the bridge of the Pioneer, staring at the star map. "We've shown them cunning. Now we need scale. More ships, more reach, more power. But always, the advantage is our mind. We will predict their moves even as they predict ours." The humans' first attempt at alliances was a careful negotiation with the Karen Collective, a species of avian intelligence oppressed by the Trivians. Ambassadors traveled in stealth ships, carrying promises of protection and shared knowledge. The Karen leader, Talari, eyed the humans skeptically. "You are fragile. Your ships are small. Why should we believe you can challenge the Trivians? Elias responded, calm and unwavering. Because humans survive where others fail. We learn faster than we fight. We adapt faster than we run. And when the galaxy underestimates us, that is when we strike. Talari hesitated, then nodded slowly. Perhaps your words are true. We will consider your offer. While diplomacy unfolded, the Trivians struck first in retaliation. A convoy of human cargo ships moving supplies was ambushed near Proxima Centauri. Lasers tore through space and humans aboard fought desperately. We've been lured, Mara said grimly. They are testing us, measuring our responses. Elias clenched his fists. Then we will teach them lessons they will never forget. The human fleet engaged, using clever maneuvers, gravitational pulls and deceptive signals to isolate and neutralize Trivian ships one by one. They did not win by numbers, they won by foresight and cunning. Word spread quickly. Across Trivian space, disbelief turned to unease. Reports called humans ghosts of war, creatures who struck unpredictably, adapted instantly, and escaped from overwhelming forces. Even minor encounters turned legendary. One human frigate, cornered in a nebula, disabled an entire Trivian squadron using improvised electromagnetic bursts. Another human captain lured alien forces into a collapsing asteroid cluster, leaving the Trivians scrambling for survival. Riltha's council grew tense. Humans are not just survivors, he admitted quietly. They are a threat. Their strategy is unlike any we have faced. They fight with their minds, not just their ships. They are dangerous. Back on Earth, the council celebrated cautiously. Each victory was small but symbolic. Humans were no longer a curiosity, they were a rising power, one that had captured allies and unsettled an empire. Elias watched the stars from the bridge of the Pioneer. They think this is war. But for us, it is evolution. Every encounter, every battle, every narrow escape makes us stronger. They will remember that humans are not to be underestimated. And in distant systems, the galaxy began to whisper not just of humans' cunning, but of their unstoppable resolve. A species once dismissed as weak was steadily shaping the tide of galactic power. The Trivians, who had once considered humans insignificant, were now forced to adapt, strategize, and fear. Humanity's rise was only beginning. The galaxy had begun to pay attention. Rumors of humans striking fear into the mighty Trivian Empire had spread across hundreds of star systems. Traders whispered of tiny human ships outmaneuvering massive fleets. Scientists marveled at their ingenuity. And leaders everywhere reconsidered their assumptions. Humans were no longer weak. On Earth, the United Earth Council convened under tense circumstances. The Trivians' movements were growing bolder, testing humanity's defenses in every system near the Sol cluster. Admiral Naomi Varesh leaned over the holographic map, tracing the routes of alien patrols. They're probing our lines, trying to find a weakness. But we are learning faster than they anticipate. Our new ships, stealth tactics, and strike teams are ready. Captain Elias Shaw stood beside her, hands clasped behind his back. We've done well so far. But now we escalate. The galaxy must understand that humans are not just clever, they are dangerous. And we are willing to fight, anywhere, anytime. Lieutenant Rian Locke tapped the map. There's a Trivian staging station in the Vrax Nebula. It's heavily defended, but if we disrupt it, we cripple their fleet coordination in this sector. It's risky, but the reward is massive. Risky is human, Elias said with a grim smile. Prepare the fleet. This will be our first major offensive. Across the galaxy, the Trivian Empire sensed the shift. High Chancellor Rilth called an emergency war council. Humans are unlike any species we have faced. They are not merely surviving, they are shaping this conflict. We cannot treat them as children anymore. They are predators in their own right. Vash hissed angrily. We strike before they grow stronger. Crush their fleets before they can gather allies. They must not be allowed to inspire other species. Riltha's gaze was cold and calculating. Patience. Strike at the wrong moment and they will exploit it. Observe, adapt, and contain. But do not underestimate them. Human fleets moved silently toward the Vrax Nebula. The dense clouds of gas and plasma provided cover for their approach. Every human captain knew the stakes. Failure meant annihilation, but success meant a blow that would echo across the galaxy. Engage stealth protocol, Elias ordered. The ships slipped into the nebula like shadows, virtually invisible against the swirling clouds of ionized gas. Suddenly, Trivian drones appeared, scanning for intruders. They're faster than predicted, Mara whispered. They didn't expect our approach. Elias smiled grimly. Good. Let them underestimate us. That is our advantage. The humans launched their attack with precision. Electromagnetic pulses disabled shields on key Trivian vessels. Mines planted along navigational lanes forced alien ships into traps. Entire squads of Trivian fighters were immobilized before they could react. Even in the chaos, human ingenuity shone. One captain, trapped in a collapsing asteroid cluster, used the gravity wells to ricochet torpedoes into multiple alien ships at once. Another rerouted her ship's energy to create a decoy, drawing an entire squadron away from the main fleet. Adaptation is our weapon, Elias said. Their technology is advanced, but their thinking is rigid. We are humans. We think beyond their calculations. The battle in the Vrax Nebula lasted for hours, but when the smoke cleared, human forces had not only survived, they had dealt the Trivians their first real defeat in open space. Ships damaged, drones destroyed, and a critical staging station disabled. News of the victory spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Allies took note. Minor civilizations oppressed by the Trivians began secretly sending aid to humanity, inspired by their cunning and bravery. Even among the Trivians, fear crept in. Reports described humans outmaneuvering fleets 3 times their size, adapting instantly to every attack, and striking with precision that felt almost instinctual. High Chancellor Rilth sat in silence, his mind calculating, his anger barely contained. Humans, they are unlike any species we have encountered. If we continue to underestimate them, we will lose more than just pride. We will lose control. On Earth, Elias addressed the Council and fleet commanders. Today, humanity showed the galaxy that it is not merely surviving. Today, we showed that humans are predators in space. Let this be the first of many lessons. And let no species doubt that humans are not to be trifled with. The galaxy had taken notice. The once dismissed species from a tiny blue planet was now a rising force, cunning, relentless, and utterly unpredictable. Humanity was no longer just a curiosity. They were a storm, a shadow in the stars, and the galaxy would never forget their name. And far beyond, in the deep reaches of Trivian space, the Empire began to realize the horrifying truth. Humanity was only beginning to reveal its power.